Hello everyone, today I want to introduce you the world bestseller book. The name is The Essential of Governance, a book that condenses the essence of being an excellent leader and continuing to be. This book is prominent politics that describe the exchange between the old Chinese emperor, his name is Taisou. He reigned 626 to 649 AD, and the vassals who assisted it. This is a collection of Q&A. Taisou settled many wars and laid the foundation of the country. His reign is famous in Chinese history as a peaceful era. This book has been loved by leaders for a long time, and it's said that the various people were greatly influenced by it. It's a book that condenses the essence of being an excellent leader and continuing to be. And it's understandable that it has been treated as a textbook by the politicians for the time. What I especially like is that he is also not a perfect human being, and it's sometimes described as a failing and acting against his own principles. Even a person who preaches the importance of being so humble and selfless is extremely difficult to maintain that attitude. That's why it's necessary to identify and listen to the subordinates and who can rely on them, rather than relying solely on the power of the will of the individual. It's a classic, but I don't find it difficult to read at all. This is a book that you should read at least once in your life as a general education, not just for people who stand on top of people. Author, his name is Gokyo, lived in 670 to 749 AD, an old Chinese historian. This world's bestseller book has very important key points. Firstly, always be disciplined and cautious so that you can set an example for others. Otherwise, people will not follow. You should actively listen to the opinion of those who are lower than you and try to change yourself. Key point 2. Others should be evaluated according to their abilities, not based on their bloodline or family background. Don't mourn the lack of good people. Human resources are those that leaders are willing to discover. Key point 3. With good faith, we should carry out a politics that puts the improvement of people's lives first. Also, since the law belongs to the world, even a prince must keep its dignity. Attitude to be taken by those who stand on the top of the other. Always control yourself and be cautious. Taisou saw that for the person standing above to stabilize the world, he should just control himself and act cautiously. If you are drowned in selfish, you will not be able to get into the essential politics and think about the people. Eventually, he will lose the respect of his vassal and the people. By the time Taisou took the throne 4 or 5 years later, a stable reign had already been realized. But Taisou believed that caution was required at that time. The attitude when governing the country is the same as the attitude when treating illness. The sick person must be more careful and care when he is getting better. Because of the world of peaceful, it's necessary to always act carefully without being relaxed. Taisou likened governing the country to planting trees. Other Chinese emperor gathered beautiful women and treasures, but was still driven by endless greed and take military action. As a result, the people rebelled, and the country was destroyed. People's lives will be stable only if those who stand above refrain from themselves. It's the same as the branches and the leaves of a tree with solid roots, and ranks that grow naturally. Listen to the suggestion of your vassals. Tyson is said by one of his aides, the reason why a great leader is so is to listen widely to the suggestion of his vassal. By doing so, he can understand the situation without being confused by some aides. However, in many cases, in adversity situations, one tries to listen to the opinion of good people. But when the country begins to stabilize, it becomes loose in the mind. Tyson thought that it was imperative to avoid a situation in which his vassal was suspicious and unable to say what they thought, and he sought to always hear from his vassals. He also rewards those who offer useful suggestions. How to find natural human resources. Leaders themselves discover excellent human resources. To be a good leader, it's essential to have good subordinates on your side. Tyson was a thorough meritocracy and had the idea that if the person was a talented one, he should be promoted regardless of his bloodline or position. Even if he was once hostile, he should be promoted. In fact, one person was originally a member of the enemy army, but as soon as Tyson decided that he would make useful suggestions, Tyson immediately put him in his camp. On the contrary, even if it's a loyal family, if there is no achievement, it's downgraded without hesitation. However, no matter how meritocracy, it's dangerous to appoint a bad guy, and it's said that personality should be emphasized, especially in peaceful times. Meanwhile, it seems that some vassals lamented that they could not find it well, even if there were urged to hire excellent human resources. However, Tyson warned such a vassal. I think there were human resources even in such an era. However, we may not be aware of it. By the way, in China at that time, it was customary to recommend from others when appointing human resources. Tyson once considered introducing a self-recommendation system, but he was warned by his vassal. According to his vassal, it's difficult for a person to know himself, and he tends to overestimate himself. It's better to stop the self-recommendation system because only sellers that boast of one's ability will become active. That's all for this time. Thank you for watching my contents. If there are many requests, I'd like to update this continuation. See you next time.